How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have Broadwing with us tonight. They can say their names and what they do in the band.
Yes, happy to be here, man. Thank you for having us tonight. I'm Dave, and I am vocals and guitar and samples and things.
And then I'm Gage. I do drums and also guitar and also other things. It's kind of weird because we're
a two-piece.
We're both drummers primarily.
Oh,
trade,
wow.
So yeah. We're just
kind of
filling in whatever
huge
gaps
mess.
we can. Yeah, it's a hot mess.
It doesn't sound like a huge mess. Clearly, you guys got it figured out enough. So, I got to give a shout out to Zach at 8 Arm Records. He's the one who hit me up. So much love to Zach. I have to give a short story, which I did mention to Dave and Gage about earlier, where I got an email from him. And the title says, "Now boarding flights to anywhere but here with Broadwing." And I thought for like 2 seconds, it was very spammy. And as someone who, has been on the internet for many years, I could argue that, it's like one of those Nigerian prince kind of modes.
That's right.
And I was like, the red flags are up. So I wind up checking their Instagram handle out, and I was like, okay, it's legit, So, but they told me that they may or may not steal my internet, like my internet ID, and if you don't see me next week, then it's been a good run, love all of you. Stay
Sorry,
safe.
everyone.
Sorry.
Stay safe out there. But legitimately, and then I went to actually go check it out, and I was like, okay, these guys are legit. These guys are doing the thing. So I wanted to give that short little bit about Zach, but
Zach the spammer.
So if you do get that email, this is just a PSA. So if you do get that email from Zach, it's not spam. Can confirm. Is legit. But
Facts.
passes legit check right now. But
There we go.
The first question I have for you guys, just because I'm curious on how the band started out. Where did you guys kind of meet? How did this project kind of formulate? The whole, I like to say, anthology story of Broadwing.
Nice. That sounds much more official than what I would call it. So I like that, Brandon.
I try.
Yeah, it's kind of like a full circle thing in terms of like how Gage and I met and how we're like in this together again, because it actually started in 2015 with me and a member of a band that Gage and I used to tour with.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Gage, like, to give it away, Gage and I were in a hardcore band like 8 or 9 years ago, and then he went off to be in the Marine band as his career choice and moved away and did that, and we had members leave and stuff, so that band broke up at that time, and then I had started Broadwing with another member of another band that we used to tour with at that time, when his band broke up. So that's how it started in 2015. And then we kind of went through some members. We really didn't do anything until like 2018, 2019. We were kind of like burnt out from band stuff for a while. So we were just kind of like started it to write and for that writing's sake, basically. And then more members through 2018, 2019. And then after we passed through some of the lockdown times and everything like that, Gage had some big life changes that happened where he was at in Florida, came back up to the New England area, and at that same time I had moved from New Hampshire to Maine and didn't have my members anymore either.
Oh, wow.
And we just caught up because we were old friends and old bandmates from a long time ago.
Very cool.
Anyway, and then like almost immediately I was like about to hit him up to be like, you should drum in this group with me. And then he was like, I should be in this group with you.
It was pretty funny.
It was like, I feel like we both had the pre-made text or something, and we were crossing.
Yeah, so like we came up. I think, I met you here. We were just having a beer or something or whatever. And then it's just like, oh, man, that sucks to hear about the band. But
He hits him with like the best like Shark Tank, like,
what are you up to?
So I offer myself.
Trade offer.
Trade offer. I offer you at $100,000 for 100% of me, Gage.
Yeah,
deal or no deal.
I would pay that price. I would get a million Nigerian prince gems to buy Gage.
Oh my God.
That's what it took. Yeah.
So actually, that's how we got him, was by scamming to buy Gage back from Florida.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna hold you guys ransom until Gage is gonna be unlocked. No, Gage, I feel like is like I feel like Gage is like when you play a
Gage
video game
unlocked.
and he's like,
It's
and
like
then
the who's that Pokemon silhouette.
He just has a big beard.
It's like new challenger approaching, and
swoop.
it's like Gage with drumsticks, you know.
Yep.
You've unlocked
that'd be
Gage.
awesome.
I pretty much just communicate in small grunts and groans anyway, so
Fair
I might
enough.
as well be a
Yeah,
Pokemon.
not
we
all
all
much
do.
different than a Pokemon.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so it kind of came full circle. So now he's back, and
pretty insane,
we
man.
worked really well together at that time, and so now we've just kind of decided to not get more members because we have just been through that for a long time now. Of
It's
just not.
just so easy with two
Sure,
people.
sure.
It's just like, hey, how's Friday work? And we're like, yeah, Friday work. It's just like you don't have to be like, oh well, I can't do 2 to 4, and like you have 5 other people you got to confirm with and whatever. It's just like so easy, and just I feel like from like a decision making process and like thought process thing
Quick.
too, we're just like very on the same like wavelength. So when you're like, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm like XYZ, and you're like, I thought the same exact thing. So it was just really easy to like make decisions and make stuff happen and move forward and create content and stuff. So it's always just been really easy working with Dave. It's been awesome.
I also gotta give credit to bands that have like multiple, like 5 or 6 members, and they all like manage to be like, okay, listen, I have this time slot synced, but like this guy
I don't
and the
get
other
it.
band.
They're
it's-
amazing, dude.
In
They're
high
like-
school, it's one thing, but like nowadays, I'm like, I don't even know how I could get 5 friends at the
Nothing
same
but
time.
props for those bands, man. Like
Yeah.
we were there. I've been in 5-piece and 6-piece bands, and it's just really tough. And there are people absolutely doing it every day right now, and they're crushing it.
Yeah.
It's
I have
like
no idea
Rain
how
Man.
that's happening.
I don't know how they do it. It's like Rain Man. They're like, oh my god, okay, yeah, here. All right, we got perfect like time sync here. Okay,
Exactly.
carry the one over here, multiply this one over. Yeah, like unreal.
Yeah.
So. I can barely tie my shoes, so I think that having
I wear
a band,
slip-on Vans, man. I'm right there with you.
Problem solved.
but it is cool that like I think I've talked about it I definitely have talked about it in like previous interviews where like it's crazy how music bonds people in that way, where like you could be doing something and life changes, and certainly that happens, and then life has a weird way of kind of bringing people back together and stuff, and I think that's
Crazy.
just such a
Yeah,
cool
it's
thing,
wild.
and I'm glad you guys were able to get it worked out, obviously, and I had a chance to check out the music video, Don't Want to Be Anyone, and I was just like, okay, like this seems very like it seems very like 21 Pilots-esque, and they're like a band that obviously I've known for a pretty long time, and just because you guys I feel like again are a 2-piece, they very much kind of feel in that sort of lane, but I guess you can kind of branch out in terms of who you guys influenced by initially, who kind of got you started out playing a bunch of instruments obviously, and then who influences more current Broadwing stuff now.
Cool. So who influenced us in terms of like getting into music, and then
Yeah.
like what influences Broadwing like right now?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we'll probably have 2 different things.
Well,
but
yeah, that's the cool thing too, is like because we do listen to a lot of similar stuff, but we also listen to pretty different stuff as well too. But
Always
like,
good.
Yeah.
as far as like OG roots, if you will, obviously we were both kind of metalheads and kind of hardcore punk, all that kind of stuff back in the day.
Yep.
And then classics, just there's always like the bass influence of like what our parents listened to, like the classic rock and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then I feel like where it comes really different is like the kind of what's influencing us now is more where I've like branched out more than I ever have before, as far as like getting in more into like pop and kind of rap and stuff that I normally didn't listen to a lot. Like I could appreciate, but I would never listen to it regularly. So like,
Currently.
yeah, currently like, and then some new people that are coming out into pop punk again, kind of a big one, like MGK, like out of left field, just swaps genres, and we're like, whoa, that's what you should be doing, and like just absolutely crushes it. So we're like, oh yeah, we could just take little bits and pieces from a ton of different spots, and I feel like we do have a general sound we're kind of forming, but there's a lot of different influences going, and it's really hard to kind of like put a genre on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, at least for me right now, I don't really know what to call it. I've been kind of basing off of what other people have said. Like we've heard 21 Pilots a few times now.
I know, a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Earlier on, like, like we both went through the school program like all the way for
Oh,
percussion, and
cool.
we were
Oh,
yeah.
in
Like marching
a
band,
marching band
the whole
together,
orchestra,
and, like,
that whole thing.
doing that. So we both are like classically trained, and I know that both of us have like a huge taste in jazz and percussion
yep.
and symphonic and like
Yeah.
all that from like way back. And then both of our dads both listened to all sorts of classic rock. So like growing up with like the windows down on his Jeep and everything, it was always like Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin,
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
the Eagles, the Doors, the Cars, like those bands. you know?
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
And,
my dad was like the classic metalhead too, where he'd get me into like Metallica, Iron Maiden, and like
Ooh.
all the other stuff. Yeah, and like Disturbed, other cool guys that do cool covers, and kind of there's so much. I don't know. It's just like such a question to answer. You know?
Yeah, this,
I would say modern though is like we both like in the 7th grade. Like I'm sorry, I'm like jumping around so much, but I'm like
it's
picking
okay.
like pivotal pieces. So it's like 7th grade, someone passed a Slipknot, Slipknot self-titled CD to like the back of the bus. Completely, it had no writing on it, and just like kept passing it. And I just ended up with it, and I was like, I'm gonna listen to this. And it was the Slipknot self-titled, and at that time I was just listening to Blink-182 and Green Day and like Breaking Benjamin, Three
Oh,
Days
yep.
Grace, like a bunch of that
Ooh,
stuff.
yeah, I got
Slipknot
you.
hit, and I was like, oh, whoa, I like metal.
This is a game
And then I
changer.
went out and bought my drum kit like at that time right away.
Nice.
And so,
Oh, so
then
sick.
like we started playing in hardcore metal bands, early Silverstein, early like Atreyu, and like all the
Ooh,
early
yeah.
stuff, right? And then Vanna, and we played in a hardcore band and played a bunch of stuff like that. And so we both like were pretty in sync at that time of what we loved. And then like speeding up, like we went through like 9 years with, we had no influence on each other in any way, and we listened to a bunch of different things. Right now I have a ton of those influences just like baked in over time, but this rebirth of pop punk that's like not pop punk, but it is and it isn't, that whole whatever blanket alternative genre that's happening right now. I am constantly listening to people that I'm finding through TikTok, people that I'm finding through Instagram, these artists that are maybe a little younger than me, but they're influenced by it. And it's like back influencing me. It's like, okay, I'm not going to let go of these things that baked into me and that like are who I have been.
Yeah.
But like, I am loving watching people who almost don't understand the genre, right, the same way, right? But then because of that, they're disrupting it and they're making new things. And
Yeah,
I'm now
creating
back inspired again by what they're creating now. And those two things are kind of clashing together, is like these baked in old dog things that have been around forever, and these new things that I'm seeing, these people making sounds that I've never had any way to figure out or had no idea what I was doing. And I'm like, I love this shit. So I'm like really about all the new alt stuff coming up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely hear like Gage said, like that MGK. Another band that came to mind that I was thinking of at the time was like Magnolia Park. I know they're getting like
awesome.
pretty big right now, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think if anything, and I mentioned in like a previous interview, like I'm not the biggest MGK fan, but I will say in terms of like pull he has on the genre, and hopefully allowing, like you said, younger bands to come up and be influenced by that. I think that's such a great thing that I hope continues in the alternative scene, because I definitely feel like there is that sort of life force that I think he brings, and so I hope that people find out about those like OG bands like the Silversteins, the like Taking Back Sundays, the all of the bands that are still kind of kicking around and doing it in that sort of emo space, but then also at the same time finding like completely just like different influences that obviously grow what they're doing. And I think you guys kind of hit that nice balance of like, I could definitely tell you're influenced by like old school emo stuff, like probably stuff that I listened to growing up. I'm 29, so I feel like we're kind of probably in the same age range. So I feel like for me it was like, again, this sort of nostalgia where I was like, okay, like they probably listen to like My Chem, they probably listen to like Taking Back Sunday, they probably listen to all of these like emo bands that I also was growing up and was listening to as well. But then there's also this like new kind of like flavor to it, like the Magnolia Park, like I know 21 Pilots has been around for a while, but like their type of music, like that sort of like dark pop kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you guys mentioned that you guys were in a hardcore scene, you know, in a hardcore band as well as like in the metal scene and stuff like that. To have that transition of like different sounds. I know, like you said, there's been like 9 years apart for both you and Gage, Dave, but you know, how, like, I feel like that's quite a changeover from like, you know, a hardcore metal
It
like
is.
thing to like something like, again, like almost, I want to say like a 180, but like maybe would say like 150.
It's
you know, it's like
drastically different.
it's drastically different. So,
Yeah.
in terms of like the writing process and like going through making this type of music now, as opposed to maybe like a hardcore band or a metal band, like, do you find that the process might be a little bit more thought provoking with you guys in regards to like, you know, maybe trying to do something different, like incorporating those like pads and those like synths and layers and stuff that I feel like, you know, if you just have like a hardcore band, like, no offense to them, I love hardcore, I love metalcore, but you know, like,
Same.
you could literally just have like, you know, a really just nasty like driven guitar, you have like a chunky bass line, you got some like crazy drums and some dude screaming into a microphone, as opposed to like what you guys
great, right?
Hey, it
just
sounds
so-
great. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. But I think what you guys do, there's just like a lot of layers. And I, like I said, I went and listened to Don't Want to Be Anyone a couple different times because I liked listening through and picking out different stuff every time I listened through to it.
Cool.
In terms of like, you know, what you guys are doing, like, did you find that process to be a little bit different from previous projects?
Totally different. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I can speak for myself because like as far as a lot of like the guitar licks or chords and stuff, typically that's me like messing around on an acoustic guitar, which I never did in the old, you know, I literally just played drums in the other
Yeah.
band and had other people like coming up with the stuff and it's like, oh, it's sick, and just start playing along to it. So like creating licks and chords yourself and all, like also being a really shitty guitarist. Like it's like so it's actually the challenge
Yeah.
is to like do stuff that I'm capable of doing, but also like making it sound good and
Sure,
not
yeah.
just doing the same kind of formula over and over again and having all your songs sound the same. Like I just don't want to fall into that pit either.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like that's definitely the challenge. It's like, oh, how can we do this thing that I'm capable of playing, first of all, but we can build on that and create more pieces and keep it fresh and keep it the kind of sound that we're looking for. But yeah, and also just the style, obviously, completely different style, like you said. It's a lot more like a thing that I want to preserve from like the hardcore is the energy. Like things that
Sure,
get me
yeah.
going, and
Oh.
especially like for live shows and
Stage.
stuff, it's like that stage presence and that energy that's delivered. Like you will never find that kind of energy at any other genre. Like when you go and see a hardcore show with a band that is playing their hearts out, like
Oh, yeah.
it just makes you want to move, and that's like what I kind of want to deliver and preserve, that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to like go off that, like there was like a fumble period of like going, like when we established this in 2015 and it was obviously different people and things like that. It was like I had already played in like a pop punk band while I was in that hardcore band as the drummer in that band, not the front person. Like I was vocals for the hardcore one. So
wow.
I had played in other genres, and then like obviously like we listen and like are influenced and study a bunch of different stuff. So it wasn't like foreign entirely of like this show versus that show. Like I was prepared to like be at those places, but there was definitely like a lot of music that we wrote that just it didn't find this. I don't feel like we found our sound until this single that we just dropped, and like we have some other singles on the way right now that feel like we finally like got into a comfort spot because all the writing is kind of like hitting those two. And there was a fumble period where it was like I was just writing a lot, and a lot of it was okay and a lot of it didn't necessarily always feel there. When it comes to like the instruments and things right now, like Gage hit it, like we have a roadblock of like we are both strong at drums. So like we're both really able to figure out rhythms, and like we don't even have to like talk. We don't have to say anything. Like we know what the other one's trying to figure out.
The drummer talk, yeah.
So rhythm is fine, and I've been a vocalist for a long time, so I'm like good at figuring out melodies and things like that. But we are slow when it comes to like finding the chords that we want. I know that like as we get better at guitar, it's going to just expedite how fast we can write a song, because a lot of times we can hum it, we can sing it, and we like know what the song's supposed to be. And it's that, or it's like writing in the computer in MIDI, and it's like doing all sorts of things to like write the song and then like bring it back. And then in terms of all these elements and stuff like that, it's like I have to almost write the song and then be like, all right, you wrote this like an old guy, and then destroy the song. Like it's like we write it where it's just like the acoustic guitar just doing like the chords straight up,
it's just
as simple as possible. And then it's like, all right, this is boring as hell. How do we rip all of these sections out and just keep the chords that we found, but just all the arrangement, all the instrumentation, every single different layer is going to be completely different, and then even the rhythm and everything. But we have the bass written, so it's like we're writing backwards, kind of. It's kind of funky.
Yeah, we're still, and that's something we're still working out too. You know, we're still exploring like other techniques of writing and stuff, but we think we're just kind of basically, like you said, just writing it backwards, so to speak.
Yeah,
like the sources of where all this come from is, you know, randomly at 10:30 or 11:30 at night, I'm like, aha, and I grab the guitar real quick and do something. Or like you said, you're driving and you just have a melody in your head that you have to like just record on your phone. So we have these like very poorly recorded like things on our phone and stuff that's recorded just quickly into the mic, you know, on the guitar real quick, so we can mess around with it in the computer and then just go bananas from there.
I think every musician does that, like where they'll just like, I know for myself, like I'll like put my camera phone, like I'll put my phone up and I'll like video myself like playing guitar or something like that.
Because you're gonna forget it, especially when you're bad at guitar like me. I'm like, how did I even play that? Oh god,
I'll immediately forget.
I'm like, oh
like,
no.
And I've been playing for like over 10 years, so like for me it's like I'm just gonna forget the shit, so I'm just gonna record myself playing it where like a capo's at, like different tunings, whatever. Like it's just, it's kind of wild, but I totally get that. And I feel like if anything, that's what kind of brought me towards your guys' music, is that like I feel like it's very dynamic heavy, which, you know, I like as being kind of like in the metal scene. There are definitely certain bands that have just like great dynamics, and I feel like you do take elements of that and kind of incorporate it into like more of a dark pop, like alternative sort of sound, that I was like, okay, like even if they were writing it backwards, like you mentioned, like it does have this like really dynamic focus that I think, if anything, like even if maybe the like song, like even if you guys have been playing like a guitar for a week versus like guitar for many years, like I still think like the way that you guys kind of incorporate different things and like add synths and like, you know, add different melodies and things of that nature, that kind of like, I want to say like cover up some of the like the knowledge.
Oh no, you can call it what it is.
You know what I mean? Like covering
exactly
it up, but like at the same point, like I think it makes it so interesting because it's like you're okay to make those mistakes because you're like, okay, well, like we're putting music out, and you know, as we get better, the music's gonna get better because we're gonna get better at our instruments, or we're gonna get better at singing or whatever. And I think that's, to me, like that's a true testament of a band doing something, because, you know, I don't think every band has to be like super polished, super like, you know, on the note. Like obviously if you're extremely out of time, then that's probably not, you probably shouldn't be in a band. But like if you can keep in time and you have the dynamics and there's just like that thought process of like, this is how I feel like the song should go, or like something like that. Or if for me, like if I listen to a song and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, I wouldn't have expected them to go that route, but like it makes it that much more appealing. And I think if anything, it made me a fan because I was able to be like, okay, they have so much dynamics. Like, you know, I hope that, you know, with every song that they release, there's just going to be something more interesting about like how they write, how they go about things that will drag me in that much more. And so, like I said, I'll leave a link to I Don't Want to Be Anyone in the description as well. But yeah, I'm curious on like the range, and obviously I'll have to ask our good friend Zach for a link for the new album. But the next question I have for you guys, I love asking this one. Probably ask this question the most. What are you guys currently listening to? What's on your Spotify? What have you guys been jamming recently?
Wow, I bet you they're super different.
Oh, 100%. I already know they're very different.
Right?
Yeah.
All right,
let's pull it up.
Yeah, what do you been jamming?
Let's see. recently, actually, one that's been around for, I don't know their history, but one that like I just got recommended by a friend that's kind of like a party kind of punkish band is you guys know Fidlar? I think we were talking about Fidlar.
Yeah, they're
Fidlar.
I think it's Fid. I don't know how they say their own name. Iglar.
But yeah,
they're sick.
They're pretty sweet. Yeah, I think they're from the
Okay.
West Coast, right? Yeah, so a recent discovery there, kind of like a punkish kind of party band. But
Nice.
I've got I've been kind of back and forth, like getting back into my heavy stuff too. So I have a pretty good like
Ooh,
playlist
alright.
going on with a lot of like classics that I like. Like one of my favorite heavy bands, period, is Stray from the Path. They
Ooh,
will be
yes.
and always will be. I always tell people that because surprisingly, like they're not as big as I would hope that they are. When I ever like people are like, oh, you listen to heavy stuff. I'm like, yeah, have you heard of Stray from the Path? And most people say no. And I'm like, you need to check these guys out.
Yeah, they're
That's
so good.
wild.
Because they're
yeah.
basically like they're just Rage Against the Machine, but like
Heavier.
in your face, aggressive. Yeah, just way more pissed off, and it's awesome.
It's great. Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah. So I do definitely have I change a lot throughout my day, like what's going on. But
Yep.
like artists that I've been listening to lately, I've liked 93 Feet of Smoke. He's got a new
Ooh.
record out that I think
Alright,
is
alright.
so good. And let's see, the new Silverstein record is sick.
Yes.
Nothing Nowhere, just in general. I got into him like a year and a half ago or something, and I think he is pretty
He's killing
cool.
it.
And then Glaive, I like Glaive a lot, and
I need to listen to them more.
yeah, I'm getting definitely like a big mix of like new hyperpop artists, and then listening to the comebacks from the 2000s emos when they're releasing their new records right now when it's hot, and then listening to a bunch of hardcore.
Yep.
Fever 333, they're sick. I
Ooh,
found
yeah,
them in
they're
2020.
great.
They're
Yep.
really cool. Yeah.
Some like different stuff that I'm listening to, like especially hanging out with like my sister and her fiance. Like I've been listening to country like a lot more, like, but not like kind of the more modern poppy country. Some more like classic and old kind of like outlaw country, if you will. Like
Gotcha,
Coulter
yeah.
Wall. Coulter Wall's got like some emotion when he plays. It's awesome, and he's kind of like a new Johnny Cash, if you will. It's kind of like that
Ooh,
vibe anyway.
alright, alright.
Down
So
with
like Coulter Wall, check him out.
I
Really,
like
really
that.
awesome.
I like old country. I just don't like pop country.
Yeah, no,
I
I'm not a
agree.
huge fan of like or what they call, it's literally called crap, like the country rap. I don't really mess with that stuff. I'm not a huge fan of that.
Yeah, it hurts.
I don't
Yeah,
honestly. I don't think anybody. I mean, there's probably like a small sect of people that enjoy that sort of stuff, but
I wish that was true, Brandon.
It's
just not.
It's bigger than it is. Yeah, it's
Just go out on a lake on
I
4th
would
of
just hope
July and
that-
just watch people just dumping it, you know?
yeah.
honestly,
just-
I hope that they just create an island and they put all of the people that love like country rap out on that island.
It says
Just
like
please
it's
stay,
like the
please stay out there. You know,
Yeah.
we'll
like the
provide you with
Lollapalooza of
food and water
that.
and stuff, but don't come back. Don't come back to the shore.
Just
like,
don't.
we'll create like a fire fest for them where
Yep.
they just go out and it doesn't have the I'm just kidding. I do enjoy people being alive. I'm sorry. I
We're
don't.
just very cynical
Bitter.
people as far as sense of humor goes.
it's gonna
But-
be
and
it's
then-
gonna be
say
headlined
the
by
last-
Florida Georgia line. You know, like
Oh no.
I know who's the other big guy. Is it Colt Ford that does a lot of the rap stuff too?
Oh, God.
I'm not as familiar with that. But
neither am I.
know,
That's the
man.
only one that I could think of off the top of my head that was just like, man,
yeah.
why?
I've tried a ton of times too, because I listen to a ton of pop and a ton of rap, and I've tried so many times. And every once in a while, I'll hear them, and I'll be like, like you were talking about dynamics earlier. I love dynamics, and I'll see the way they'll blend, doing like acoustic, kind of similar to like arpeggiated acoustic, and then trap beats, and I will be like, whoa, that hit.
Yep. Yeah.
But
those
they'll
are
be like,
cool.
that hit, and I'm appreciative of the way that was written and produced, but I never want to hear it again. So it's like, I still will be like, I like it. I like the way that it was written or something. It's just not my vibe when I'm hanging. But
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I have some good recommendations. I'm gonna have to go check them out. Certainly. I also have to give you guys a suggestion because you did mention Fever
Please do.
333.
Yes.
You should check out Jason's old band, Let Live. They're like a post-hardcore
yeah.
gem.
You know, let
No, I
Live.
know.
was
that-
gonna say-
I know that.
I was gonna
What's
say,
the,
so-
what's that
he-
song? A week ago? Is that one of their songs?
I don't.
Let me look it up real
Oh,
quick.
I
Oh, yeah,
wanna.
you
I
brought
wanna
that over.
say no, but I wanna.
Yeah, no, it
Buddy on the
is.
Bus.
A week ago by Let Live. That's one of my favorite tunes by them. Although if that's the same Let Live we're talking about.
I think it
Anyway.
is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Fun. I always tell this story. I'm not gonna tell it again, but it's like it is. They are one of the craziest bands I think I've ever seen live. So they're
Really
like
nice.
they've like broken the ceiling in terms of like live bands.
Okay.
It's wild. So I would definitely suggest if you have some time on YouTube. I mean, he's crazy now too in Fever 333, but I would argue he was just like that band was that much more insane live, like collectively.
Yeah.
I think he just fits in that like post-hardcore, like he's always gonna be
Space.
that person in my heart that lives there. You know, not that I don't love Fever 333 because it's also a great project, but man, he is just top tier like live performers. I'd argue he's just nuts. Like he's so good, and I would love for them to like tour with like Rage now since they're back.
Yes.
I feel like I feel
Yes.
like the craziest
That would
like
be a sick tour.
political-esque tour would be
Yep.
like Rage, Stray, and Fever. I feel like those three bands need
Yes,
to
that
tour
would be
together.
an awesome tour. People would be so angry.
I know.
Oh, it'd be
There'd
great.
riots, dude. The riots
it'd
would
be over.
insane.
The earth would implode on itself.
Cars
and just,
flipped.
you know.
Yeah.
Oh my god! So guys, if you want to make that happen, you should do it. I'm just saying. I don't make the rules, but
Let's
I feel
give
like
it a
that would
whirl.
be.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be pretty wild. And then let's throw Broadwing on it. You know, just
Yeah,
as
let's do
mental
it.
health.
Right in the middle.
right in the middle. But guys, if you
Watching all the chaos unfold.
there we go.
I'd be for it.
The next
yeah.
question I have for you guys is a fun one. If you guys could pick a song to cover, what would it be?
Ooh, we've actually talked about this a few times. I have a little bit of a list going for like cover ideas. Whenever I'm listening to something, I'm like, I think we could do this and take it an interesting direction.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one because like you kind of think about like what could I cover because it matches a lot of things with us, and then what could I cover to like make it really different.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I really
have
want to
two in
cover
mind, but you go.
is "Wishing Well" by Juice WRLD. I think that would sound
yeah.
really sick with
Yeah.
just like pushing the rock a little bit more to it, but we already have a lot of the samples and things like that anyway, so it's not like super foreign to us. But I just love his lines in that song, and I think that there's like a more rocky version out there that people would be down with.
I would
yeah.
agree.
That was
I would agree.
one.
One was actually, I remember you posted a clip of it on TikTok. Was that ABCDEFU song?
Oh yeah.
And then we were like, oh, that would be sick to cover. And then I like saw R Last Night come out with it, and I was like, damn. And they did it really well
been
too. Like,
covering
they've been
crazy.
covering everything right now, dude.
Yeah.
And it's-
The
They're
cover
so on it.
embargo.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
they're super talented guys. But so like we were like, oh, well, there goes that.
All
one.
right. Well,
But one of the ones I think from like way earlier when we were first writing and stuff was was it Devil Makes Three song, the old number 7. Remember that one? It's kind of like a folky like country thing, but we were thinking
Yeah.
about putting it like a little punky like kind of hardcore twist to it.
All right.
That's one that I was like excited to work on, so I'm excited to eventually get to covering a couple of things.
yeah.
But
I feel like
the other one that I feel like lines up with us was actually that Fidlar band, that Bad Habits song. I kind of want to play that too.
I would have to hear that again.
Yeah,
Because I haven't listened to them.
we should check it out because I think that would be a good one to bust out randomly, and it fits the vibe.
Cool.
I like
There
this.
you go.
I like the choices. I like the choices, guys. Oh man, I don't know what to. I feel like that old country song would be kind of I feel like that'd be kind of ridiculous. I'd like to hear that. That would be.
It's gonna be yeah. So
That's
I'm excited
my
to work on it.
metaphorical vote would be.
We'll do it for Brandon.
There we go.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And guys, you can do it for Broadwing by letting them know in the comments what song you feel like they should cover. I'm sure they'll check
Please
them
do.
out. And who knows? Maybe you'll wind up seeing a cover from
Anything could happen.
I'm pretty neutral on that discussion, so I'm
down to
easily
consider
swayable.
anything pretty much.
There
At
we
least give
go.
it a shot.
Well, listen, who doesn't like... I always say when people are like, oh, I have a list. And I was like, yeah, well, now if you have a list, now you can add another one on there because, if somebody loves Broadwing, and they're like, man, I'd love to hear you cover like an Olivia Rodrigo track, then you can put that down there. It's great.
I'd be super for that as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
There we go, guys. Next question, and another fun one. What is your favorite food to eat?
Ooh, that's easy for me. I'm a lobster freak.
Oh yeah,
dude. I'm a lobster freak. I will absolutely demolish a lobster, and I've disgusted many people from watching watching me eat lobster.
The actual process of that.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
I can't imagine it being pretty.
It's not pretty for anyone.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
You can make it uglier. You know.
Oh yes, yeah, and I sometimes do.
What's funny is I was going to say, like, if I could be more New England cliche, I would if I could, but probably in the summer lobster roll, and then in the winter clam chowder. Like
that, yeah.
Depending on the season, but like, I don't know, man. Those just hit.
Or the classic like bread bowl at Faneuil Hall when you get there. Oh my god.
Yes. Maybe going out after this.
Some might say wicked good.
Really just playing into it, guys. I appreciate
End the
it.
interview. It's over.
I just exit. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. I will say though, for any meal where you have to wear like kind of like a bib or something like that, it's not gonna be good. You know, like it's just gonna be like an absolute slaughter fest. Like those lobsters, dead.
Yeah, like the strategy is now whenever me and like my brother-in-law typically has been the go-to. Whenever we decide that we're gonna boil up some sea bugs, we just don't even bother with like the table or anything. We boil them outside. One of the famous like primitive propane burner, the giant pot, just load up lobsters.
Yeah.
And we just plop them on the counter and just literally eat over the sink like savages.
That is
because it's like it's not even awful. It's not worth trying.
We will never do that on a date, dude. Wow.
Are you serious?
That'll be our next music video. Gage eating lobster.
Oh my god. That would be the most New England interview, I think. And then you just like, it would have been great. And then you follow it up with just like a cup of like New England clam chowder. You're just drinking it down.
Or like Dunkin' Donuts. Like it's not even just like iced coffee. Yeah.
I can't. No, that's where I tap out is the Dunkin' Donuts coffee. After you like eaten a lobster, you know, like
right. Yeah, you like the hand smell and everything. Yeah. But yeah, it's good that lobster's expensive because I feel like if it was cheap, I would probably like overdo it and then not like it as much. But since it's such a rare cheap,
it is cheap up here.
Right now, it's actually pretty good. Yeah,
you can find like they're just fishermen and they just sell it for
like $5 a pound. Yeah. So
I guess I'm gonna have to drive up to New England then because I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's way more than $5 a pound for lobster. Also, I wouldn't be eating it over the sink like a zombie movie or some shit. You know,
should try it sometime, man.
We're in Maine, man. We there's like some sketchy guys that you can buy them for like $4 a pound, and they just don't care. But it's sketchy. It's a sketchy transaction to buy lobsters.
They're like missing with their teeth, and they're like, huh.
Yeah. Yep. Sketch.
You're like, you want this sea bug?
You want some of this here sea bug? And like, I do.
You are taking them out of the water, so yes, preferably.
Like, do we really need to meet up at nighttime, sir?
In the back of a Denny's parking lot.
He's got like one of those like gas lamps. He's like shaking it. You know? He's like, is this what you want?
Hanging it in the wind. Yeah. Is this what you want? Shaking the lobsters.
He looks like fucking like he looks like Gordon's fisherman. You know, like he's got like a fucking like hook for like an arm. He's just like this is. He's not even holding it. It's like severed through the fucking like.
For people who have never visited Maine, this is an absolute accurate description. 100%. This is exactly what we do.
You want fresh Maine lobster? This is what you got to go through.
We just build boats and just walk around on peg legs.
Yep.
I'm sorry for all the people in Maine that I completely offended by saying that.
We just generalize.
Listen, it's funny. People generalize about. I used to so I'm originally from New Jersey and now I live in Pennsylvania. But people in New Jersey are like, oh well, like, are you like Italian or something? You know, like. You know, like the Jersey Shore, you know, that sort of stuff. And I'm like, how?
Do I
even
Italian
sound
vibe?
like gabagool, you know?
Gabagool.
Like, what do you expect? Do you expect me to just like, oh yeah, I'm going out tanning, and then we hitting the beach, and then we're gonna get a fucking hoagie or some shit,
It's pretty good.
That sounds pretty good,
Oh,
man.
thank you.
So sure that you're not hiding things from us.
I honestly, yeah, I'm actually part of the mafia too, so.
Fair.
I feel like I'm a certified Italian right now, But anyway, before we get into this like wildly divisive topic, hopefully we didn't scare off like all the people that exist in Maine, and I didn't scare off the people that live in New Jersey. So if we did that, I think we've accomplished much here. But the next question I have for you guys, if you guys were to pick a dream collaboration, who would you want to have on an up and coming Broadwing record?
Ooh,
man,
that is a tough question.
Yeah,
because there's so much, like just like we were talking about before with how many influences we have. It's like, oh my god, who the hell would you pick?
Dream collaboration is in like something that's doesn't matter if it's attainable or not.
I think if you want, you can give me one like attainable one that you're like
one wild one.
We could do it, and then one just like out of bounds. Like if this happens, like I'll name my first child after this person, like.
Fair. All right, well, like a cross one, because we were thinking about this the other day. A cross one for the two of us. Gage was saying Corey Taylor, because he's such an insane songwriter, and because there's so much history there for like our old roots, where like I feel like that would be really cool.
And he's flexible too for like genres, because he's done like. Not just Slipknot, he's just Stone Sour and all that stuff. So he can like flip flop and kind of do different styles, I think. And he's just super talented guy.
Yeah, for something that's like more possible. I don't know. Like we talked to, I have a friend out on the West Coast now who used to be in some hardcore bands. He's in he's himself as an artist called Banshee Kid right now.
Okay.
And he does like rap metal kind of deal, like kind of like Scar Lord type of vibe.
Okay.
And so we've thought about doing like a single with him, just because we are like a pop band, and that would be fun to just kind of like totally fuse some of the newer sounds that we've been working on with like us and me and him used to be vocalists on the same stage. So that would be like really fun. And then as a mainer, I really, really would love to do a track with Spose, the King of Maine. It's like the King of Maine, man. He's just like the rapper that's been here forever, and everyone knows him. And he does a lot of stuff with a band. I think he always uses a band cool. Live right now. So I would love to do like a collaboration with him in some way and just see like what he would want to mess with. I think that would be really fun, just because I love where I'm at, and he's the King of Maine. So
there you go.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Gage, do you have one?
As far as a local, and I'm also down from New Hampshire, so it's a little bit of a distance as far as the scene goes, but it's all the same anyway. But I'd probably have to agree as far as like the direction we're headed. Like that would be really cool, like something along the lines of Spose or something. Get one of the kind of bigger local guys that's more on the side that we haven't covered before, like so like the up and kind of pops, like get people in there to get their influences in. I think that could be really fun. Yeah. See what kind of thing you come up with.
I like that. Guys, if you want to make a Sposa / Broadwing / Corey Taylor collaboration, what you do is you go on twitter.com, or you open up the Twitter app, you type in Broadwing on Twitter, and then you also type in Sposa, and then you also type in Corey Taylor, and you say collab ? And again, not legal scholar. This is not legal advice. There's I don't have a disclaimer, but that's my disclaimer to you, is that I'm not legally liable for anything happening. But
right.
Just saying, if it did happen, just that would be very cool. So
that'd be pretty wild.
A manifestation. So, guys, if you want to make it happen,
let's go
do it right now. Like, pause the video and then go do it, and then come back, because I need your views.
Come right back. We'll be here. We're waiting.
We'll be waiting.
Yeah.
Just go ahead. We just sit here for like a minute. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, guys, make that happen. It'd be very cool. So, let's make it happen. But the next question I have for you guys, you do play a multitude of instruments, but if there was another one you could master, what would it be?
Ooh. Well, the most obvious answer would be like guitar. That would be the most helpful thing to master.
I was literally going to say like my own instrument. If I could master what I actually play
First,
this band,
let's move on to something else.
that would be number one.
That'd be
'cause
number
make
one.
my life way easier.
Yeah. But as far as like a random, like less kind of obvious, like useful answer, like for just a random instrument, I have always been super impressed with people who can just play the shit out of a banjo. And I was like, if I could just
Ooh.
absolutely just pick up a banjo and shred it, and people just be like, whoa.
We're talking like dueling banjos level. Like,
Pretty
just
much,
shred
yeah,
it.
just absolutely like just real quick, like lay down all that stuff, or like a slide guitar, same idea, just that like southern like that would be probably my less like practical choice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So practical choice for me is like actually, like I said, like just being able to play it guitar faster, and I am starting
Yeah.
lessons and everything like that again, even though I took them in the past, but to just do that because that always happened like just because there was a need. Like I was a drummer in a band, and then we lost a vocalist, so I became the vocalist, and then I was a vocalist for a while, but then it was like then as the band went for Broadwing, our bassist was gone, so then I was vocalist and bassist. And then all of that went away, and then Gage came back, so then I am now vocalist and guitarist. So it's just like a survival method.
Yes.
It's never been
All right,
like,
well, I
I'm
guess
like the
I'm
cockroach at the end of the world. Like I just keep crawling and surviving,
With all
but
of your
it's not,
instruments on you.
you know. So that would make my life easier. But I guess like as a non-practical one, just being like more versed in synths. I guess like I'm
Ooh,
decent in
yes.
production right now, but.
Yeah.
Like actually like understanding like the modular, like I love old synths where you're actually changing and pulling the valves and things like that and patching.
Nice, like that.
I would love to
Yeah.
get into that, and I'm sure I will someday in like a dark nerd cellar somewhere, but you know,
Hell yes.
yeah.
Or you could just be like, shout outs to Andrew Huang on YouTube. He is like, God, he is wild. Like, if you want to see a studio set up with like wires everywhere, like a ton of different synths, this dude is fantastic. So I always got to give him a shout.
I'll
But
check him out. I'm gonna write it down.
I love the answers. The banjo thing, I could definitely like resonate with because it would just be so wild if you're just like, you know, doing that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
right. Like little party trick, like just like, oh, what's that banjo doing there? You're like,
And
show
you just
you.
pick it up and you're
Just-
just going wild. Love it.
Yeah.
The next question I have for you guys, my personal favorite. I'm a huge nerd, so I love to ask it. If you could be a video game character, who would you be?
cool. I'm also a huge video game nerd, so this is actually a difficult question. You go
Bless.
first.
You're really gonna do that to me? You have played way more video games.
That's 1,000%.
I played video games a lot growing up, but I really have slowed down after school.
Well, you also have like a lot more like things going on, like trying to repair a farmhouse from the 1700s, 1800s, whatever it is. I don't have that.
So sick.
So
I have like
I'm gonna be a basic bitch on this one, dude, because I'm kind of simple. If I could be a character, I think like it's kind of cheating because it's like obviously they made a video game from the
Of a
creation
movie.
of it, but
Okay.
Ash Ketchum, dude, it
there you
just
go.
seems pretty rad. Like first of all, this man has lived an incredible journey, and somehow when other people have gone away, he's just continued on and not aged at all. So first of all, that's like kind of a tight life anyway.
Discovered
It just
found.
Yeah.
doesn't go away and doesn't age. So he has some type of superpower that they never talk about.
Immortality.
And second of all, being able to live in that world, I like constantly want to live in Pokemon world where like you go outside and you're just trying to take your dog out and a squirrel can just absolutely destroy you.
wreck your day. It's just like,
It just-
oh god,
That is
it
the
was
best.
super effective.
That is the best way to describe Pokemon. It's just
Sand
like
attack,
if you
sand
just
attack.
if
It'd be
you literally just
apocalyptic.
walked outside and some fucking like beast comes out of nowhere and just like holy
Yes,
shit,
it would
like
be apocalyptic.
Jesus H. Christ! Like,
Now it's like elements and stuff, so you don't even just like look at animals. It's just like, yes, a tree just destroyed me. Just get out of me. There's nothing that I could do.
a
about
rock,
that. What are you
a
supposed to
tree
even
that is
trust
literally
anymore?
a rock is gonna come.
There's a
and
trash
fucking
bag.
say-
There's
yeah.
literally a trash bag that could attack you. Like, what are you supposed to do with that?
No
You
Where
go
is
throw your
safe?
trash out, and the gut Pokemon's like, "What's going on, man? You fucking throw trash on me?"
Yeah. In real life, they would take over the world. There's no
Yeah.
doubt.
oh, 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah. But I would be Ash. I'd be Ash.
I like that.
That's a
I like
solid
that.
one.
That's
That's
a
a
great
solid
one. I
one.
love that one.
You know, it'd be an interesting one, like Steve from Minecraft If I was just like, hey, I'm Steve, and you're just like, Minecraft is such a simple world. So like all your needs are so easy. You could just be like, house, done. Like you want a mansion, sure. Take an extra
Living
couple
that
minutes,
simple life.
build a mansion like in a couple minutes, and
Build
like
banjo.
getting food. You know, you start your farm real quick. You're just like, boom, food's done. I got food. I got water. I got this infinite water pool that just never runs out.
There you go.
That's a pretty simple, like peaceful, awesome sandbox life. Another cool one, I guess, would be like Grand Theft Auto, because like you could just go bananas, just absolutely snap and go crazy, but then you'll just like wake up in the hospital, like out right on the sidewalk, and just go back to whatever you're doing.
Put the codes in where like you
Oh, the
get
cheat
arrested.
codes, yes, like
Only.
you just have the cheat codes. Yeah, you just automatically like punch them in, and you can just fly.
Yeah.
You just screw traffic. Your car just flies. Yeah,
Boat flies away.
or just spawn an airplane real quick.
You're like, ah, like this, and the plane just like comes down.
Yeah,
You're like, great
Oh,
transportation. You get into the fucking plane, and, and you're driving, flying it away.
exactly.
He is pretty ballsy, dude, because like when he's falling from a plane, he's just like, oh shit. And then he's like I would say way more than that if I was falling from an entire
Yeah.
plane. He says oh shit like one time, like right when he falls.
Maybe
Then
he
he just
just
falls.
maybe he just
Cool.
accepts that that's what it's gonna be like, you know.
Calm,
Calm,
cool.
Stronger man than me, man.
serene,
Yep.
You know, I'd be like, holy shit, oh my god, what am I fucking doing? Ah, like you know, like
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, I'd
Oh,
be
it's
saying
absolutely
all the
wild.
all the Hail Marys, all the whatever, you know, all that shit. I'd be praying to
Yep.
whatever God exists.
Yeah.
I'd be like, please parachute open. Like, oh my god. So wild. But love the answers. As again, I'll show one of my many things on my computer desk. I have little
Yes.
Dragonite,
Nice.
you know.
I listened to your Valley Heart interview when you were talking about the most badass Charizard that you're absolutely going to go in debt to get someday. And I was really excited about
I
it.
gotta, yeah. I feel like that's, guys. If I hit like 1 million, that's when on the channel. That's when I'll just go out and go hard and go get like.
And that interview hit me, dude, because he was talking about how his parents threw out his Pokemon cards or something, and my dad did the exact same thing.
No, the classic.
Yes, I had a binder full of cards, rare cards. He threw it out, and then to this day, I still talk about it to him, being like, "Dude, why
Why
did you get
throw
rid of
this
those
away?
cards?" Still a point of contention today. It's a big deal. Now,
I like how you
it's
just hold
current-
him to it. You're like, I'm this age, and I'm like, I'm still mad. How could you, Dad? And you're just like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
like, and then it just the camera like pans out, and you're just like on your knees, like, why? Why did this
Why?
happen to me? Oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah. I've honestly, in that interview with Kevin, shout outs to Kevin Valley Heart, love him.
They are awesome. That band
was
is so good.
I was like, oh my god, I like felt a pain in my chest that I haven't felt in a while, and I was just like, yo,
Hurts.
it hurts my feelings, you know. So
Hurts.
anytime that happens, you know, I feel for you, Dave, you know, in my heart, you know. So that's,
Man,
Yeah,
I
that's
appreciate that.
Yep.
don't worry.
Yep.
Every like will get Dave that much closer to that Charizard card. So
Yeah.
Yep.
F in the chat.
F's in
Every
the
stream.
Rip.
every song stream
Ripperoonie.
will get him closer to the Charizard
Every
card.
song stream.
So make
Yes.
sure to put it on before you go to sleep, and then you'll be
Do
good.
it for
We'll be
Dave.
good. Do it for
Do it
Dave,
for Dave.
guys.
Yes.
Do it for Dave. Do it for Dave. Do it for Dave,
Man
guys.
and his Charizard.
Anyway, guys, the next question I have for you: if you were to compile a dream tour lineup, including Broadwing, who would be on it?
That's another very difficult
Hmm.
question.
I would, I don't know. That's really tough because we kind of like vibe with a
So
couple
many
different
different
sides of stuff.
Things.
I think like, just honestly, like if Warped Tour straight up just came back,
Oh, that's a very
Oh.
I would just want to be on
just
Warped Tour.
hop on Warp Tour. Like
That's like a super
they have it
cop out
figured out.
answer, so I'm sorry everyone, but like if Warped Tour came back, I just know that whatever current and past that are bands that I like are just gonna be there, and then I would get to play with them, and I would probably like any stage that we went on, to be honest.
Yeah. Such
Fair
a
enough.
big.
Cop out
huge-
answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all right.
Pretty
I
much.
respect it. Respect. Gage, what do you got?
Not gonna lie, man, I might ride the cop out wave on that one. That is a hard question to be shotgunned with. Yeah,
true.
that's
That's
just
true.
there's just too much. I'm gonna fold on that
A
one.
ton of people have told us 21 Pilots, though, even though so I like 21 Pilots and I have listened to their records, but I basically don't listen to that band. And a ton of people have said that we sound like 21 Pilots,
Yeah.
which is wild to me because it's always one of those things when you don't listen, you can't tell what your own band sounds like or whatever. So a ton of people have said that. So I feel like that would be sick. And I don't know, maybe we could do a 2-piece thing and we'll go on tour with girlfriends and we'll do some things like that. We'll
There
do
you
on a
go.
2-piece. It'll be called like the 2-piece. I can't.
We'll call it double dash.
Wearing your 2-piece tour across
Ooh.
America.
Wearing your 2-piece.
Just a
Guys,
bunch
if
of
you can come up with a
bands.
really good tour name, drop it in the comments.
go.
That would be
There
very
you go.
cool.
68 can come.
Yes, 68. Yes, that would be. Oh my God, that would be quite the lineup. I
Let's
was.
go.
I
That'd
would,
be a
I would be
weird
about
lineup.
it. I would be about it, guys. Buy your
I would
tickets
go.
now. The tickets in the description. You know, pre-save them now. You know, you want to buy
That's right.
them. It's coming to your town.
It's a
near
hidden
you.
button.
Hidden
There you
button.
go.
It's at the very bottom of the description. So go check it out.
Yeah.
Next question I have for you guys. I know you guys have been to a lot of concerts in your lifetime, but is there any band in particular that stands out that just puts on a fantastic live performance?
One recently that I actually went to, I was really impressed. I saw the Deftones not that long ago,
Ooh.
and that show was pretty. I was really far away. Don't know.
That's
Money.
fair. Yeah.
But like the show was amazing. Like they had awesome, all the sound was flawless. They had amazing effects and lights, and for like that group, they just filled the crap out of the stage and really delivered the show. But yeah, that was one that I can at least recently think of. But I'll let you speak on yours, see if I can remember any others.
The Chariot.
Oh.
Like, no doubt. I saw their last show in Worcester.
Oh.
It was like their last tour, and that was just like before it, like they weren't playing a song. They were just like sound checking, and as the sound check starts, literally the crowd is immediately like just moving around the entire room, and you're already like kind of afraid that you're gonna get injured. Just from the force, like they're not moshing, dude. They're just pushing around, but the energy of people are like, I'm ready to just destroy this place, which people who've been to the Palladium, it's already destroyed. It doesn't, you don't have to do that anymore to it. You know, you don't have to do that. But they were probably one of the best bands that I've seen live. They just absolutely are like, I don't know, top level energy, unreal.
I think another
agree.
one that was
Yeah.
at the Palladium when we played that one time. Was it Texas in July and like Vanna and all that same lineup? Like,
Ooh, wow.
even though those few bands on that one stage, like just everybody crushed it. That one, that was a freaking fun show.
Yeah, Coliseum.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have to agree with Dave. The Chariot. I saw them one
Crazy.
time. They mind blowing. Like there was one. I think it's actually one of their music videos where like the guitar like caught on fire or some shit, or the amp caught on fire. And I was just like, I'm not even gonna ask. Like I don't even
Did they
need
just
to
keep
know
playing
why.
anyway?
They just kept playing like I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it was the amp. Because you can see the amp, like the guy playing the guitar, and the amp is literally on fire, and he's still like you can still like obviously
Not
it's a music
stopping.
video, so you couldn't really hear if there was sound coming out of it. But I would just imagine there was probably sound coming out of it. So like,
It's authentic.
can you match that energy? I hardly
No.
doubt anybody
It's
could be that wild.
definitely up there.
Other
They're
than like
crazy.
maybe like Dillinger Escape Plan. I know Dillinger Escape Plans.
I could
like,
see that.
They're like
Yeah.
they were stupid wild. So I gotta give you guys credit. The answers, peak answers, but definitely the Chariot. Like oof, man. Unlike any other artist, I think right now, I don't think there's really. I think Jason's bands really are probably the closest we'll get to that peak
Yeah.
energy level because they're just
Yeah.
He's wild too. He's awesome. But the next question I have for you guys: favorite TV show, favorite movie.
Ooh. Okay. One of my favorite recent TV shows of the past few years big Rick and Morty guy. I know
Ooh.
Oh
everybody's-
yeah, it's so good.
Rick and Morty is just that right amount of like dark humor, and you get everybody that's like, "Oh, it's a smart show." It's like, no, I like that. It's dumb. Like you don't have to be smart to watch Rick and Morty. It's dumb, just like all the other humor I like. It's just awesome. The writing on that show and the dark humor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
What
what about you
movie?
for show? Oh, movie. It's hard to pick one, but like I'm a huge Star Wars guy, so
Ooh.
it falls into there. I can probably give you like a top 3-ish. I don't know. It's even really difficult to do, but like,
Yeah.
but Star Wars in general, like some of my big favorites are like Episode 3, surprisingly for
Oh.
the prequels. Everybody craps on the prequels, but like Episode 3 is so good. Rogue One for the new ones.
Yes,
Like Rogue One
yes,
was
yes,
so
yes.
good, and then obviously the original trilogy, like 4, 5, 6. It's just so nostalgic and just
And then
such
when you
so ahead of
rewatch,
his time.
when you rewatch it again, but remastered in the newest ones, you
Right?
Oh.
Yeah.
know, those are still good too because they're
Yeah.
the same one. But no, I love all of them too, and I watch all of them, and I buy their stuff. But for me, show wise, usually when I'm watching TV, like I don't watch a ton. It's like at the end of the night, so I am also in that same boat where I like something that just like makes me feel really stupid and dumb and don't think much and just laugh. So I could watch The Office on repeat, like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
in a straight
Oh,
cycle.
yeah.
Just I could literally just keep watching it, and then when it ends, like just keep going, and it would never affect me. I don't think so. Office, the humor just totally hits me, and for movie, Donnie Darko. I
Ooh,
think there's a
nice,
lot
yeah.
of
I don't
different.
think I've seen that one.
I love
actually.
that movie. Well, we'll definitely watch that. I love that movie. It's just a weird movie. It's slightly dark. He's just really rad when he's in that skeleton outfit, and it's got like so many different ways. Like every time you watch it, you don't know you don't know what happened. Essentially, you like there's so many ways that you can interpret that I like watching it frequently and trying to poke through it. You know.
There you go.
Yeah. No, definitely agree with that. Like the answers, I'm kind of very similar to you guys in terms of this like stupid shows to watch. Like I'll watch when I was watching last night to go to bed, I was watching some Key and Peele. You know, just
Oh,
discuss
yeah, there
comedy.
you go.
It's just so stupid,
So
but I
good.
love
Bam.
them. Those are great.
Flounced.
I love them. They're
so
great.
good, dude. They're so good.
I'll also watch like Brooklyn Nine-Nine because I think that
Yep.
Andy Samberg is like a hilarious genius. So I got to give him props. But yeah, the answers on point like those. We're gonna move on to the next question, guys. If you're trapped on a desert island for the next month, and there was one album you can bring with you to listen to, what would it be?
Ooh.
Wow.
That's tough because what's going in my head right now is I'm in like what genre? I'm like what genre do I
Yeah,
want?
what would I want in
when
that
I'm stuck in
situation?
that- What's the situation? Are we like good? Like we've got
Yeah, you're just
we're not
chilling.
we're chilling, so we're not like, oh shit, I'm stuck with nothing. I'm like surviving, or am I like I'm just shit, I'm just stuck in this house in the desert for like a month.
Yeah, like
Is that
kind
what
of.
we're doing?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Like that. Yeah, nothing.
We're
I
on the
want, I
island,
want you
but
to
we're
fear
like
for your
not
life.
stressed
you know?
about.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so probably either like a Chili Peppers album or a Dirty Heads album if I'm stuck on an
Ooh.
island.
All right.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Like maybe like Blood Sugar Sex Magic. That's one of my favorite Chili Peppers albums. Like that's a good one. It's just got a lot of elements into it, but they're kind of their own alt kind of like funk. And
Yeah.
I'm never like, very rarely am I like, if they come on, I'll skip them. Like I'm like, yeah. Even if I'm not in the biggest Chili Peppers mood, I'll still listen to it. They've always been a favorite of mine.
I would kind of go along the same way where like there's a million records that I love very, very much that I wouldn't want to like go away and not have access to. But in that situation where I'm on an island for a month long, so my only source of entertainment is to grab this record, presumably. And also I like don't want to be in a stressful situation because I'm already like kind of stressed that I'm stranded on an island. So
Fair enough.
any of my angsty emo all metal stuff that I like, I would be like, I'm sad, but not in that way. Like I'm more like scared for my life way.
Sure.
I'm not able to overthink how sad I am. So I would probably go for like a Bob Marley record.
Fair
because I
enough.
do
Yeah,
actually
sounds
like
chill.
secretly love reggae.
Oh, dude,
Or
seriously.
I would also totally go for like a Pink Floyd record, like either like Wish You Were Here or like Dark Side of the Moon, and just like
Ooh.
get lost in it. I love having those on, and I don't really like. They're enough where like if I want to analyze it, I can analyze it, or if I had it in the background,
It's
it
good
also
background,
can
yeah.
just like kind of like chug, and like both of them are that way for me. So
Yep.
that's probably how I'd go.
I like those answers. You know, you completely took the question seriously. Asked me. I think it's great when people get like super invested in the
Well,
question.
yeah, it's like,
'Cause
well, what are we talking
I'm just
here?
like, it's just a question, man. Like, I'm not trying to like, I don't have like a gun pointed to your like face.
This is
and, like,
survival.
What are you doing? Like, you know, like.
I'd
so.
probably do the same thing if there was a gun pointed at my head. He's like, if you were,
Has anyone said like
what
like
kind of island?
has anyone said like a Beethoven record or something? Because they're like, well, if in a survival situation, I need to like heighten my brain activity, so I need something that's
That's some
just
next level. Like,
Somebody-
logic.
like my
Somebody gave me the funniest, I think I would argue probably one of the funniest best answers I got. Somebody was like, I would take an audiobook on how to survive on an island, and I said, I
Step
hate
one.
you for that
survival on a
answer.
deserted island for a month.
I hate you for that answer, but I respect you because you like legitimately thought about it in that way. So
Practicality.
it was
You
very
said
practical.
a record. That's cheating. That's a book.
That's true. Oh, I don't
Sorry,
remember
whatever
who it was.
band that is gonna just like troll the shit out of us now.
Cancel. No. But yeah, no, I feel like that's I love the question about like desert island records, but then also at the same point people are like, what's your desert island record of like all time? And I'm like, bro, you have to pick one album that you're gonna listen to forever. Like that's too much. So I
Ooh.
feel like a month.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Months-
yeah.
months-
I couldn't
month's
honestly. I
enough.
couldn't do that. Like, I couldn't listen to anything in just one thing. Like, variety's the spice of life. That's what you need.
Oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
feel anything you could definitely overdo a little bit.
Yep.
100%. 100%. The next question I have for you guys, I love asking this one. I've been like kind of end capping a lot of my interviews with this. You know, for people who have made it to the end, thank you. Thank you guys for watching.
Yes. Thank you.
What do you want people to take away from Broadwing? You know, maybe from a lyrical standpoint, musical standpoint, kind of the combination of the two. You know, what do you want people to understand about your band, what you guys are doing, what you guys are creating in terms of your art, and you know, maybe any sort of messages that maybe pertain to, you know, what you guys are about, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, we write what we know, and we have like total ups and downs as people. And so we write a lot of things to obviously convey things, but also things that I'm sure a lot of people have dealt with. So we write definitely for people to relate to it, but a lot of it is like kind of like sad but fun. It's like we humor like all the stuff that sorry, we humor everything that kind of like is a challenge for us, and it's always kind of like it is what it is, man. So like we might as well fuck it and like have a lot of fun
Embrace
together.
the suck and just
So-
go for it.
Anyone that is like coming to hang with us at a show or listen to our stuff, like we're always really blunt with the stories that we're saying, or like pretty straightforward with like a thing that we're talking about, and we're not afraid to like hide those things that are a challenge and everything, but we're there to like get together and huddle around it and like rage, because like why not,
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things going on in the world and just our timeline in general, you know, and both in personal lives and just again the world. And so it's just like take it all kind of with a grain of salt, you know, and just be serious when you got it, but don't forget to, you know, kick back and have a good time and just kind of say screw it once in a while. Like you can only control so much, so it's just like
Yeah, man.
here we are, you know.
Yeah, I feel like you guys kind of hit that nice stride of like, you know, again, finding that realism in life, and, you know, how there are, you know, both negative and positive things that kind of affect your life, and how you kind of go about it, or how you choose to have it affect you, whether it be like mentally, physically, whatever it may be. And so I felt like, at least from my perspective and listening to, you know, I Don't Want to Be Here Now, or I don't want to be anyone. That one really kind of struck a chord with me because it's just like sometimes there's times where, you know, I was talking in the previous interview where, like, you know, I had to take some time off for my mental health, and I was, you know, very worried on like if people were gonna give a shit about if I like took 3 months off or whatever, and so I think that there's you know, I think people have, I feel like if anything, you know, out of the pandemic and stuff, I feel like people have had more, I don't want to say leniency, I guess, but I guess that's kind of the word I'm looking for, where, you know, I think mental health has become a much larger thing, and I think it's been a lot more prevalent in a lot of people's lives, which is awesome. But I also think at the same point, like, you know, a lot of bands have been writing a lot more about that stuff. So I think I think it's a good thing, and also, like, you know, way for people to kind of connect in that way. And I think with your music, like, there is that level of like angst and anger to it, but then also at the same point, I think, you know, we all collectively can kind of find that commonality in feeling that way. So you know,
like, everyone's got ups and downs, everyone's got their own shit to deal with, whether they talk about it or not. And like, I've got that angst and anger, but when I use that in real life, I don't go out and fight people. I go out and just like play shows and go party and go hang with people and just be with those people. And that's kind of like what we just want to bring out through
Exactly.
the sound.
I think the next single will be a nice follow up. I think you'll like it.
There we go. There we go. Well,
that's definitely straight up our COVID song is the next one coming out.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, that is the perfect segue, guys, into the next thing. Tell them where they can find Broadwing at, what you have coming up in the next couple months, and anything you guys want to plug or talk about.
Cool, man. Thank you. Yeah, we have another single coming out October 21st called This Year. So that's definitely what people should check out. We got a music video that we also shot in and around Portland, Maine, too. So for all my Mainers that got pissed off about me talking about lobsters, I love my place. I love my people. And so we got a fresh music video and a fresh single coming out in October. And anyone that wants to check out what we're up to, we have a website called broadwingmusic.com. And that's got all of our newest stuff. When we're playing shows again, it's going to show where we're playing shows at. It's got our merch. It's got our music videos. It's got our social. And if you're hanging out on TikTok, we're doing a lot of stupid shit on there. And I would love for you to just absolutely tear me apart on the comments in there.
Just give me the funnies.
So
there we go. Well, again, want to give a shout out to Zach. Much love to him for reaching out, and glad we were able to get Broadwing on. I also want to give a shout to Dave's podcast, Waking Up From Work. I did check out a couple of them, and I was like, Dave's got it. So go check out his stuff. Man. I'll leave links below to go give that a check out, a watch, a listen, wherever you find music podcasts. I'm sure it's there. But more specifically, go check out Broadwing. All the links will be in the description where you can find out about the band, music, new stuff coming up, shows, merch, all that shit. Please go check below to go support them. If you can, go follow them on Spotify so you can be up to date on when they release new music. And if you enjoyed this interview, share, like, and subscribe. If you're from New Jersey, I'm sorry I offended you. If you're from Maine, I didn't offend you, but
our streams are down from Jersey.
I kind of felt like it did. So please don't hate me if I do come to Maine. I don't want to get just like shafted by the board's fisherman.
Yeah, the peg leg.
I watched your interview on YouTube, but
he's very outrunnable, man.
Yeah, he's pretty slow.
But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging out, and huge thanks to Broadwing for chatting with me tonight.
Thank you for having us, man. Thank you for everyone listening.